So, hello and welcome back to the second episode of the K100. Just finished doing the other one, so this is straight after. So there's no this is what I've been doing. It's literally here we are. So if you've watched the review, or not the review, the unboxing of the orange stand thing I did, I just put it under the bike and I'm like, is it going to work? And here we are. It's on. If I've not done it, strapped it down. It's not, I need to go up a bit more with it, but it's here, it's in the middle, I'm happy with it. So, now it's time to figure out why my K100 will not start. Let's move my actual phone away. I'm going to pull the seat off. It's a heavy seat, mind. You've seen me remove this in the last video, so that's off. Other side. So, ignition on. And then, you can't see this. So as you can see, ignition is on. It's weird, you do this switch here but then just a second ago I had 7 litre and 4 litre light up, and if I do this, oh there you go, 7 litres now lit up. So it's saying takes a while, so there's no fuel in that one. I think the 4 litre is going to light up as well. But, push the start button. Nothing. Choke on. Nothing. Now, what do we need for a bike to run? We need air. It's getting air. I know it's getting air because we've had it running on brake cleaner. It needs fuel. It needs spark. Well, I know it's got spark because it's running on brake cleaner. So, from the guy I bought it from, his understanding is there's no fuel pump working on it, which is fine. But I don't know what's in the tank. So if we turn this off, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but there's nothing in it. It's dry as you like. So what that means is either there was fuel in it and it's leaked out, or there was no fuel in it, which is why it's not starting. I'm 99% sure the guy I bought it from would have known, and I'm sure if you're watching, you would have definitely put fuel in it. But first thing I need to do is put fuel in it, because I need to know if that's the problem. So that's off. Shut down there. I'll be back. I'm going to get some fuel. Okay, so we have fuel. Let's get some in there. Hopefully it doesn't leak out. Might regret that later on, but it's even got like a baffle in there. It's mad. Right, other side. Excuse the mess. Obviously, I'm really excited, and yeah. So I'm under the impression a bike of this age with a fuel pump in the tank as it is, the newer ones will run as soon as you flick that on. They will just run. The older ones, like this, will only run the fuel pump when the starter is engaged. Okay, so that's a no. It wasn't just fuel. That's fine. Let's take off the cover on the side of the engine. We've got a fuel leak. Well, that explains as to why there's no fuel in there, because it's leaked out. But unfortunately, I think that's leaking from the actual tank. It's not leaking from a seal or anything. I think that's actually leaking from the tank. Yep, so definitely fuel pump does not work. That's fine. What we need to do now is get this tank off. Oh, that was easy. Okay, so let's see what we've got underneath this then. Okay. The only plug you've got going to it is this one that you probably can't see from there. But the wiring is different. Right, in here is relays and stuff. Now, I don't know what this plug's for, and it's got 2 wires snipped off of it and leads to nowhere. I've got another one in there that's got some dodgy repair. Got another one in here that's bare. I've got another one in there that's bare. So to me, those two go on to the end. So they've all been disconnected for some reason. And I don't know what that's for. I wonder. I don't know if they've got a turn, like if the bike goes over on this, whether it's got a cut off and that's what's plugged into that normally, and they've tried to bypass it maybe. I've got another plug there, but that does something else. Got radiator fan. Right, I'm going to do some wiring diagrams and come back to you. Right, so I haven't actually looked at a wiring diagram. However, what I have looked at is this. Now, I don't speak German in the slightest, and that is a fuse box written in German. What I do know, however, is Kraftstrop P, a 7.5 amp fuse, is the fuse for the fuel pump. Now, obviously, I'm in a bit of a predicament here because the fuel is leaking, but I can still try and get it running as it is. What I should have done really before taking the fuel tank off was check the fuses. So, we're going to check the fuses now. I'm going to grab the GoPro and show you what I kind of found. There's no blown fuses from what I can see at the moment, but the multimeter is on the floor, and we're going to check some stuff. So I'm going to leave this running, and we're going to grab the GoPro. Right then, so in here is the fuse box. Now I'm going to pull a random one out, and you can see the corrosion that's built up inside of this. So the one we need is this 7.5 down here. And it doesn't look brilliant, and I know them pins are absolutely awful. So what I'm going to do is I have got these diamond grip terminal cleaners. So if I can get them out one-handed, you grab these, you shove them in into the hole, bit of cleaner in there, and hopefully it cleans them up. I've also got a box of fuses, so we're going to replace them as well, even though it looks like this is the original German one that came from factory. So it's quite old. Not that that's a problem, it's just more of a, I want to clean them up, make sure they're right. So I'm going to shove that one back in there, and then I'm going to go and clean them. I'm going to come back. Oh, that's what I'm going to do also. I'm going to check the voltages with the ignition on and see what I get when I'm cranking it and stuff to see if I've got 12 volts at the fuel pump fuse as well. Sweet, right, I'll see you in a minute. So I screenshotted a photo, thanks to Google Translate. So the first one is the instrument Brahms schedule light, so instrument cluster and some lights, parking light, bunk lights, and the clock. Power outlet, which we haven't actually got anything in there because it hasn't got a power outlet. They sometimes have them here, so you can have 12-volt chargers and stuff. Then we've got special equipment, which this bike doesn't have. Then we've got fuel pump and double horn and the fans. Now, the horn doesn't actually work, so a good indication, without me actually testing anything, potentially, is to do the bottom one first, clean it all out, change the fuse, see if the horn works. That's, you know, they're not very well done. They're very corroded. But if we put one here, that's the spare one that come out, and that's corroded too. So like we say, we're just trying to clean them because anything like that can cause this. And then we'll spin that out. So these are actually really good for this sort of stuff. I might try and use the bigger ones. I might get the airline on it as well and blow it all out. There we go. grab the airline. And that was a 15. So what we'll do is we'll grab a 15 and we'll chuck a 15 in there. Okay, so that's just proved one thing. It's proved that the terminal was that bad. I mean, I didn't show you the horn not working. I will completely admit that. But it does go to show. I mean, I'm telling you the horn didn't work because when we brought it in, we tested the indicators. We knew the indicators worked. The only thing that didn't work was the horn. But now, the horn most definitely works. So, let's move up one and try fuel pump. Dusty. Right, that was a brown one, 7.5 amp fuse. I'd love to keep the original fuses in there to say they're original, but that's silly. That is a 7.5 amp fuse, and we'll stick that in. What we're going to do is just see what we get. So that's positive. That's our earth for the battery, so we need to screw that back in again. It's not a very good earth, I will completely admit that. And if I just check we've got an earth, it's good on that one. Oh, I will because I'm on the straight of the battery, you knob. That's 12.3. Right, we have got a good earth now. So with the ignition on, we've got 12 volts on that one. Oh, but nothing on the fuel pump. 12 volts there. 12 volts there. Nothing. And nothing. That's fine. So, I now need to do that while turning the engine over. Right, so we have got 12 volts there. So we need 12 volts there. Okay, so I know it's leaking. What I'm going to do now is refit the fuel tank, plug it back in, see what happens. Right, tank is back in, plugged in. Please tell me you can hear the fuel pump working. Whoa! Right, let's get this back on, shall we? Let's tighten it all up because I think I've said they work in a weird way. They return. So what happens, unfortunately, is the tank gets really hot because they run the fuel through the fuel system, and anything it doesn't use, it gets returned back to the tank, which I'm assuming runs back out this side down here and back in up here. So I need to make sure they're all on. We'll get that out there. Just make it so it's runnable, maybe. Like so. And now, I'll take my airline out the end of the exhaust. Flick the ignition back on. Wait a minute for me to drain this, to take this fuel off the engine a minute. Okay, so fuse is back in. Fuse is now been cleaned up. Ignition on. Move my phone out of the way. Move that out of the way. And we should now hear the fuel pump kicking again. As we can. Just fill the primer a little bit. Bit of choke. Oh, you could have told me. Right then. So that runs. I need to take it off the jack really because I think it's going to start burning that up. But Okay, so as you can imagine, I'm pretty pleased that the bike actually runs. And all we did was sort of go back to basics a little bit. It's a very easy oversight with fuses and that sort of stuff to sort of miss that sort of stuff. It's only from experience that I have gone a little bit further with that. Noticed one thing with one, and obviously, first things first, the horn didn't work. Then the horn worked after removing and fuse and cleaning it. So it's worth going over, especially on a bike this old. I've never worked on something this old motorbike wise. So yeah, it's I don't think the battery being fitted the wrong way, which is what happened, caused any of the problems. I generally think it's just down to the bike was set up for a while and it got a bit wet. The fuse box cover wasn't on properly, and that's what has caused it. And I do believe it was taken to a garage for them to look at it, and they did some wiring stuff, and I think I've seen it, and it ain't the best. But I don't know who it was. It's in the paperwork. I'm not going through it. I'm not slandering anybody. It is what it is, and the bike now runs. So hopefully now... she fires up. So it's a bit smoky, but I don't know if that's just because it's been sat for so long. It seems to be getting better the more it's running. And I know they are smoky from startup due to the engine being on the side, and the fact this has only got a side stand means it's prone to be doing that. Hence why new contraption. So I would imagine, I'd like to hope it's going to sort itself out. I'd like to point out, before I started it, I did do the checks, the oil, the coolant, before anyone goes, oh, you didn't check the oil. The oil was in there and it looks all right. It's going to be changed, don't get me wrong. But, yeah. So, I think what I'm going to do next, in the next video, is probably a compression test. Let's see where this engine's at. See if it's healthy. And then I'm also, after I've done all that stuff, I'm going to run it up. I'm going to take the tank off tonight, put it on its side so we're not leaking fuel anymore. I'm going to look at how much a new tank is, because that's the first thing I sort of need to buy. Yeah, so join us next time for a compression test. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and follow me on my K100 journey. Thank you.